Hey guys, Goose here. I'm just going to run through my setup that I've got. This is really to address any questions about film and sound projector amps, coilfoils, Coodercasters, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to go through in this video. So let me get out of the way so that you can see the amps. Okay. So here on my left I've got a 6v6. 1950s running at 117 volts with a variac, and it's going through a lazy. We've got two Lazy J cabinets. The 6v6 is going through a 15-inch 1960s roller speaker. I've got some 50s ones, but the 60s ones sound pretty sweet. On my right here, I've got a EL84 1960s Filmer sound. Both these were modded by Bill Cronado, by the way. This is on the bright switch, this EL84, and it's running again through a Lazy J cabinet with three Eminence Blue Fender speakers, which I really love. I've got a Reverend 10-inch speaker, ceramic 30-watt speaker in the cabinet. That's for when I go into town, London town, and do some blues and jazz gigs. And I just want to walk with that cabinet on the train. And basically, I would recommend a 30-watt speaker, ceramic 10-inch, if you're going to play with other people. That's the minimum with these amps. Because if you're going to use a vintage Jensen, you're going to blow it. Trust me, I have. So that's what I would recommend. A ceramic, be practical. If you're going to gig these ceramic speakers, all having three, the Fender, I think they were Eminence Blues, called Fender Eminence Blues. Because I'm running three of them, they're 20 or 30 watts Alnico speakers. They're fine. But if you ran one, you probably blow it. So word of warning there, go with ceramic speakers, guys, if you're going to run one speaker with these amps and play with other musicians. So let's just talk about the effects board. I'm going through a Goose Crossfire pedal. We've got Quicksilver delay here for ambient. We've got the Echo Nugget slapback, which is always on. Okay, just give me that slapback. Some reverb from Reverberamo reverb, and you can also have some vibrato on there, kind of underwater effect, which is really nice for something. Okay, so let's turn that off. And the way I'm getting into the two amplifiers here is I've got a Y splitter with a WOW Goosemaster, which basically has got some fancy technology in there. Well, not really fancy, it's actually probably quite basic. But it's just a Y cable, a tube Y cable, and it's a copy of a clone of Ry Cooder's Green Man. I can't tell you how I got the circuit, because, it wouldn't be very nice, but let's just say I managed to figure out the circuit. WOW amplification, managed to put it together for me, and they're for sale. They're a little bit pricey, but that is actually a signature pedal made by WOW amplification, and it has a big kind of variac knob on the top, and that's how I control the volume of the two amps. Yeah, so there you go. Right, okay, so what else do we want to talk about? So the Reverberamo, do I need that? Well, that's just feeding the 3x10 cabinet here, the EL86. It's a kind of, it's a half-assed attempt at a wet dry rig. So the reverb's only going through this amp, not this amp. This one stays, because this is, the 6v6 is my real punchy, an amazing amp. It's very punchy, and it just really gives up the goods. So I don't want to put reverb to dampen that at all, anything on there. So the reverb's just on the more ambient sort of EL84 chimey sound. Okay, also I've got the Crucial Audio giving me a slap back on all the time. That you might hear it if I switch off the reverb. You know, I might have a little bit more mix in there actually. So there you go. That is the. I'm going to put the reverb back on. Not too much reverb. Don't really want to have too much reverb with this setup. And then you've got the ambient delay, which is really good for certain things. So that's giving me the kind of, I probably wouldn't have it so many repeats actually. Cooder is basically playing on the last two strings of the guitar, a lot of the melodies. So really you just want to kind of gauge your sound so that you can really get a nice biting. You know, that's a clean sound. There's no overdrive, no distortion effects at all. So any kind of sustain is coming from the amps and the Goosecaster, which is the boost, the valve boost. But it's not a boost as in, like this pedal here is a boost. And so this, when I don't have the Goosecaster and I want to boost, I'll use this, or I use a Goose Texas Flood pedal because that has a boost kind of in it as well. So, but this is a really nice kind of studio style boost. If you wanted to get this similar, not really the similar, but if you wanted to get kind of a boost, clean boost sound, then that could get you there somewhat. As could the Goose Texas Flood, or the Goosecaster, or the Green Man. But you can have any kind of clean boost. You don't need, you know, because even this it's quite expensive. You can get you need a clean boost. You don't want to get a boost with any grit, because some boosts come with a bit of distortion or something. It needs to be completely clean, or a valve boost, you know. This pedal here actually has a boost as well. So if I wasn't using the Goosecaster, then I would use the boost. I would have that probably on all the time. But I don't need to, because my boost is coming from this unit and I can dial that in. I can actually dial that amount of boost in. So that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for that really punchy, you know, you don't have to play like a maniac all the time. You can play more artistically, shall we say. Okay, and then for overdrive, I'm going to use my pedal, which is called today I'm using the Goose Crossfire, which is more of a boutique tube screamer, but my favourite pedal actually for Coodercaster is the Texas Flood, which I built for a Strat, but it works really well with golf balls. But anyway, so this is my kind of overdriven sound. So there you go, that's the Goose Crossfire pedal, which is just a tube screamer. So again, you don't need to buy this pedal, you can buy like a cheap tube screamer clone. Tube screamers for me, you know man, why would you need any other pedal if you want to have overdrive? Tube screamer is the one really. So that's kind of like a boutique version, but the Texas Flood pedal, which I don't have because I've sold them all, I use that as a boost, and that's better with the Coodercaster. It sounds really sweet. The overdrive sounds much better, but I need to make some more. So anyway, so there we go. Quicksilver. It's just an ambient delay. I would definitely recommend the Maxon delay pedal, analog delay. It's a bigger pedal. Maybe that's a really good pedal. But any pedal, even a Boss pedal, is with, you know, you just dial it in with a delay to give you a bit of ambience, and that's really it. Okay, this might have a little bit more magic than the other ones for this kind of stuff, but they're all going to work. They're all going to be fine. So let me just put a bit more mix, and you're kind of. I also use this pedal for single note lines as well. So there you go. Just some kind of a delay to give you ambience. You're not going to have it on all the time. It doesn't have to be the Quicksilver. But if you do find a Quicksilver, then jolly good. Echo Nugget. Apparently, the genius behind Crucial Audio is making a smaller pedal without the boost side. So you know, keep an eye on that. This is a fuzz. This is a fuzz face. I prefer fuzz faces with Coodercasters. That's just me. But I also sometimes use a Chine fuzz as well, and that's really good as well. So that fuzz or a Chine fuzz, you're going to be laughing. Maybe to have them both because they're different flavours. I wouldn't take them both out on the same gig. You only need one fuzz. I kind of I use it a lot with a delay, you know, just to soften it. I like the delay softening that fuzz pedal. Let's talk about the guitar. I have two Coodercasters, which you might have seen if you're watching my other videos. This is my main one because I can kind of throw it around. I can move the neck. I don't care if the neck snaps off. I've got a 610 fret wire, medium. The action is a little bit high. This has got 12s on it. This one here, this has got 13s on it and it's tuned to C or C sharp, depending on what I'm doing. Again, all original pickups, and I'll address the replicas in a minute. So yeah, I put in the whole tremolo system, block it off. Gold foil. Yeah, this is the Coodercaster style Rycuda one, Rycuda Supro lap steel. Again, these are all originals. Nice sort of wide fat neck is what you need, and again, action not too crazy, but you know, people sometimes ask me what action should I use. Well, just use the action because your technique's going to change all the time. Just use the action that you're not going to rattle against the frets, and it's easy to play chords. Okay, and easy to fret notes. Because you're fretting notes. The Rycuda style is fretting notes, and that's really what I say. It's different. It's a personal thing. You know, there's no one. You know, I change my action all the time depending on how I feel. So at the moment it's quite low, but it could be higher sometimes. You know, so don't get too hung up on the action. Just tweak it, and when it feels right for you, that's when the action's right. You know, because you're going to have a different hand to Rycuda. So it's no good knowing what Rycuda's action, and I think his action now, probably he's getting on in life, it's really low, and I think he's gone down to 11s, you know, because he used to play 12s and maybe 13s back in the day, but now he's using, because you remember when you're tuning to D, you're tuning down, so the strings are going to get floppier. You're not tuning up. None of the strings are being tuned up, so you can compensate with that with 12s and 13s. Really, this is 12. This is light. These are 12s. You don't want to go any lighter than 12s. You know, if you go lighter than 12s, then you're going to have problems. But Rai is apparently using 11s, so there you go. I would say 13s. If you're struggling, if you're a beginner and you're struggling with the slide technique, try 13s and have the action high, and then you want to bring it down a bit more. 13s are good. 12s are good. You know, 13s are really good for detuning. And that's why the other Coodercaster has this one here, which is a more legit looking one, has 13s on it. But then I can go lower. I can go to C sharp in this one, or C even. You know. This one only ever goes into D. Again, these are original pickups. Now, do I think the replicas are really awful? No, I don't. I think it's a good start. It's a good place to start. You know, buy some replica pickups and then save your money when you can, and buy some originals. That's the best thing I can tell you. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to say this, guys. These cost me less than replicas. You know, because people like Lola and all these other companies, they can charge a lot of money for these. And I can tell you, actually, these cost me less money than the replicas, and they sound much better. Okay, I don't know why. Maybe they've got lead in there, and you're not allowed to use lead. Who knows what they? I don't know why or where, how, but they just sound better. Probably because there's some chemical or component in there that's illegal now. You're not allowed to use it. That's probably why they sound better. But don't quote me on that. It's just my thoughts on that. And why do I have this Guyatone in the neck? I got that one from Blake Mills. So shout out to Blake Mills. He's a great player, great guitar picker, and he gave me the idea, the inspiration. I just really loved his sound with this pickup. So this has kind of my favourite, I guess, neck pickup. But then again, when I want to get, Ry Cooder, he's a man. Let's face it, Ry Cooder. And maybe David Lindley gave him the idea for this pickup. I don't know. There's a whole story. If you go to Michael Messer's website, great slide guitarist from England, he's going to tell you how to, the whole story. But this can sound, if you want to get the Howlin' Wolf, that kind of, North Mississippi Hill blues, that really cool, real blues sound, then I would recommend this. That's much more of a bluesy sounding pickup than the Guyatone. The Guyatone, I'm a fan of Guyatone guitars, as you can see in a minute. And the Guyatone is more, it's a bigger sound. It's and bolder and more open sounding, so that's why I like it. It's not necessarily a bluesier sound. Okay, if you want a bluesy sound, you want to go for this one. You want to go for the original Ry Cooder one. That's what I would recommend. Okay, I'm going to do a little update on pickups as well, because I've discovered something else which I'm not going to tell you in this video because we don't have enough time. But there's another really cool little secret about these pickups which I'm going to tell you soon. So check that out in an upcoming video. So let's just check out some other guitars before I leave you guys. So this is what I call my Cuban guitar, and I just basically play Cuban music on this guitar because it has that kind of vibe to it, And I've said this many times, it's got the best pickup in the world, which is this neck pickup. These two pickups are split, and this back pickup sounds horrible, but it's great for cumbia music. So if I want to play cumbia kind of style, so it's a really kind of shitty guitar sound. That's brilliant for that. And then you've got this immense guitar sound, which is, I've lost my whammy, but I don't know what it is. Again, these, you can put a bit of delay on that actually. Or bring in more of the mix on the slapback, because that's going to sound. More of that sort of vibe to it. So this is really my, I just actually come back from Cuba, and I didn't say anything, guys, but I've actually hurt my first finger. I've sprained it because I fell off a motorbike in Cuba, and this is complete, so I can hardly move. I can't even bend that first finger, so hopefully it will heal. I'll be back to normal, but I'm kind of struggling with it, but it's I just love this guitar. I first heard it on Mambo Sinuendo, which was Ry Cooder's Cuban album with Manuel Galbon, and he used this guitar pretty much. He had 2 of them, and I fell in love with the guitar, his guitar sound on the album. And I thought I just got to have it. So again, 6100 fret wire. You'll notice I always have 6100 fret wire. I think Martin Knopfler does the same, but anyway. And I've rewired it just in mono. My friend Brian, a good friend of mine, wired it. But otherwise, it's original 1965. Really, the only original kind of vintage guitar in it. And then lastly, for this rig, I have this guitar, which is my Ali Farka Toure guitar. Ali Farka Toure, who was a great guitarist from Mali, and he played this guitar, a black one, but it's the same thing. It's called a Seiwa Powersonic, and again, it's part of my rig. And here we can go through some ambient Quicksilver sounds. So that's kind of the thing. So I flip between Cooder, basically, slide blues, all that stuff, and then Cuban guitar with this monstrosity, and then Malian guitar with this very heavy guitar actually. I had a speaker in here, but it doesn't work. And this pickup sounds amazing. It's just incredible. It's a really, so if you wanted to get something similar to this, just get a guitar with one pickup. And it's very hot. It's a very hot pickup. But that, you know, because you can use, if I just turn this up, you could use it with the overdrive. You know, and you can get some great sounds out of it because it's so hot. It's such a hot pickup. So that's the Seiwa Powersonic, which is only used for the Malian style that I play. So there you go, guys. Now, to conclude the video, this is kind of my entire setup. This is what I would gig with when I'm playing this kind of style of music. And the question is, do you need to spend, even this boost pedal is expensive. Do you need to spend money on really high-end gear? Does it make a difference? Yes and no. I would say this: most of the time, 90, and this is the honest truth, guys. 90% of the time, I'm not actually using this gear. Okay, that's the truth. Because if I'm traveling to France or I'm going off to a gig and they have an amp, I'm not going to take this. Just why? There's no point. So you really have to get the sound in your fingers. Yeah, I know it sounds. You've heard this a million times, but get the sound. Without all this gear, work on your sound first. But so really, you need a good guitar. Really, I'd say the guitar is the most important thing. In a sense, the guitar is the most important thing. You don't need a PRS. You don't need a 10 grand PRS. This here is cobbled together. It's cobbled together from parts. This is cheaper than probably a Squier is now, or a Fender Mexican guitar. It's not expensive. Because you can buy all parts necks and all parts bodies or MJT bodies, whatever. And then you buy the pickups, and by the time you spend that money, it's cheap, it's not expensive. So if you get the Coodercaster parts and you build it yourself, and it's fun building it yourself. Don't, people go and buy ones already made. Don't buy one, I can tell you this, please don't buy one already made. If you need somebody to make it for you, go use your local luthier, use him or her and get it made. Give them the parts and get them to make it. Yeah, because it's much more fun. That's the whole point of this process. Is you kind of building slowly by slowly. Get like a Blues Junior amp. A really good amp is a Blues Junior. Get that. Get a Maxon delay pedal or something cheap second hand, a couple of delay pedals, a tube screamer, a Blues Deluxe, build your own Coodercaster, and then boom, you're there. And then spend the time practicing, getting a good sound with your fingers. So that when eventually you do sort of change up, and you've got all this fancy gear, which is behind me, you know, your Bill Crenard modded Coodercasters, sorry, Filmer sounds, and the hard to find blue Fender speakers, and the the Holy Grail Quicksilver, and the Wow Goosemaster, like the most expensive Y splitter, and the Reverberamo, and all this stuff. When you've got all this stuff, then you've already got it in your fingers. You've already got the sound, so you're only getting 1% extra. You've got that technique and ability to play without all this gear. Like I said, a lot of the times I'm not even using this gear. But when you can use the gear, then it is something special. Then you're going to be really. And because a lot of the times you're not using your gear, and if you're relying on gear to sound good, then that's going to affect your performances. So get used to it. Build it up slowly. Don't try and go out and buy all this in one go to think, well, I need to have this all now. That's not the attitude you want to have. Step by step, little by little, you build it up, and then you maybe have a cheap replica pickup in here. Or you have another version of there's lots of gold foils that aren't expensive, that are from the 60s. You have one of them. And then eventually, I found the right Cooder one. Okay, and I'm going to swap that out and put that one in there. And that's what I did. This took me 10 years. 10 years to get this rig. Because I bought stuff, little by little. I didn't go out and buy a £10,000 PRS guitar. I went and bought, MJT bodies and gold foil, and then found these pedals when they weren't expensive, and that's how I did it. Rather than spending a whole 10 grand on a PRS Dragon because I want to show it off in a forum, I thought, no, wait a minute, I'm going to be clever. I'm going to design like a sound. I've got a sound in my head. I heard a sound. I heard a couple of albums. I heard the Mambo Sinuendo album. Okay. And I heard a few other albums, and I was listening to some vintage, music, old albums from the 1950s recorded at Sun Studios. I wanted the Sun Studios sound, I wanted Cooder's sound, and so I built a system to replicate that thing. Rather than spending 10 grand on a PRS Dragon just because it looks flashy, I spend it on the, and there's nothing wrong by that, guys. Nothing wrong, by the way, to buy it. I commend and celebrate anybody that wants to buy a beautiful guitar and spend loads of money on it. I celebrate that because we all love guitars. But I spent that money on this rig, and instead of all the guitar. So that's really where I'm coming from. And it didn't cost as much as you think, but it does cost a bit, But you build this up over a few years, and then eventually you're there. So that's really my advice: is don't go crazy and try and buy the whole thing. Work on your technique, work on your sound, and little by little expand your gear. Because there's stuff that I've got. This is not a copy of Cooder's rig. This is kind of a hodgepodge of different ideas that I've kind of put together of my own as well. So it's not entirely a copy of Cooder. So there you go. Hopefully that's going to give you some food for thought. Hopefully I've answered some questions about the speakers. Again, I like 15s. I like 3x10s, beautiful sounding, or 2x10s are really good. 1x12s, they're also, it can be very utilitarian sort of idea to have a 1x12 speaker. Again, if you're going to have just one speaker, I would go for something ceramic, something tough. If you're going to play out with just a one speaker sort of rig and a Filmer sound amp, go for ceramic. Go be practical. But if you're playing at home in your flat, apartment, house, whatever, and you're just playing by yourself, then you can have a vintage Jensen Alnico speaker, and you're not going to blow it. It's going to be fine. But as soon as you take that Filmer sound out, you need something robust. Be practical. Be practical with your speaker choices. So there you go. Hopefully that's answered all the questions. If we need anything else, just put it in the leave a comment and I'll answer it. Till the next time, guys, it's goodbye from me. Take care.